Welcome everyone to the J Crash in the Car Super Bowl special. Yes, it's that time of year again. It's the Super Bowl. And we're all getting fired up for the big game. We've got the barbecues, the parties, the office pools, the halftime show, the commercials, the food, the booze, the gambling. We've got all the little subplots and sub-stories. This year it's the NFL's wet dream, the Harbaugh brothers. And will Ray Lewis retire a champion? And somewhere in there, we've got a football game to play. The Super Bowl is the NFL's pinnacle event. And it's really become a national holiday. The Super Bowl represents everything we stand for in America. And am I talking about peace and freedom? No, I'm not talking about doublespeak. We like to think those are the things that we represent. But all you have to do is pay attention to the symbols and the words, the language that is used. I'm talking about war. I'm talking about commercialism. I'm talking about religion. I'm talking about tribalism. And I hope you read my disclaimer and you don't get your feelings hurt. Know that I'm a football fan. And although I like to sit back and critique group behavior, I love a good football game. But as I like to say, it's important when we come upon these big events that we step back. Have you been to a football game lately? Have you seen and paid attention to the symbolism that's at play? The ceremony? The religion of it all? In many ways, the Super Bowl reflects our values in the society. All we have to do is look at the words and the symbols that are used. Let's listen to the great John Facenda. Pay attention to the language that is used.
Perhaps the most impressive moment of the NFL pregame pageantry is the shock and awe of the flyover.
This yard of space is called no man's land. Football games are won or lost by control of this narrow strip of land. The battle for it is a violent one. The hands of combat. The hands of pros. It starts with a whistle and ends with a gun. It's a long bomb. A screen pass over charging linemen. A bullet from the midst of a traffic jam. Number 50, search and destroy. Number 58, search and destroy.
In the age of the Romans, the gladiators would prepare for battle with their armor, and they would step into the floor of the Colosseum to do battle before the raging fans. And we have our modern Colosseums. We even have a stadium called the Coliseum, where the USC Trojans play. Other stadiums carry the names Veterans Field, Soldier Field. The relationship between football language and war language is unmistakable. Perhaps George Carlin said it best in his bit on football and baseball when he made the following observations.
In football, the object is for the quarterback, otherwise known as the field general, to be on target with his aerial assault, riddling the defense by hitting his receivers with deadly accuracy, in spite of the blitz, even if he has to use the shotgun. With short bullet passes and long bombs, he marches his troops into enemy territory, balancing this aerial assault with a sustained ground attack which punches holes in the forward wall of the enemy's defensive line.
And what the hell does football have anything to do with religion? Well, let's look closely at the ritualization that's taking place. There are sacred items that one wears, sacred symbols, the logo, and all the ceremonial rituals, the tailgating, and the rituals during the game, when to cheer, when to stand, when to get loud, when to get quiet, and to be able to quote scripture, which in the case of football is to know your stats and your team history. And as we file into the stadium, the gladiators are preparing. They're putting on their pads to do battle, putting their helmets on, and the crowd gets louder and louder in anticipation for the gladiators to storm the battlefield. And the music comes on, and it's usually Crazy Train. And the music gets louder and louder, and the crowd is whipped up in a frenzy, and then the bombs go off, the rockets and fireworks and the explosions, and through the smoke come the gladiators, and the national anthem is pumping, and we're all wound up in this great big patriotic circle jerk. And looking above, we're in awe as the fighter planes buzz the sky. Damn, boy, that's football. And we worship the ritual. You are involved in one big ritual, one reconfirmation of the ideals of the society that is being reflected through the sport. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the game, but being able to recognize this protects you from the programming that's taking place. Where else would you see so many people excited to see commercials? And the Super Bowl is all about commercialism. The game itself is only 60 minutes, and it goes on for nearly 4 hours as they cram in every possible stoppage as much advertising as they possibly can into every second of airspace. Millions of dollars are spent on advertising, and even during the game there's advertising as the announcers slip in little bits, like the Geico play of the game, or it's the State Farm important moment. We're going to look at the Pizza Hut scoreboard here. All the corporations, all the consumerism that we are bombarded with, and the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of that advertising campaign. And people look forward to it. They crave it. It's one of the reasons they watch the Super Bowl. I want to thank everyone for listening, and above all, enjoy the Super Bowl because it is fun. Enjoy the time with friends and family, and just know that with greater awareness comes a clearer understanding. All right, everybody, it's J Crash.